Hey guys, my name's Ashley Hearn and I'm an aspiring film director and screenwriter. I just felt very passionate lately and very inclined to be a sort of spokesperson, as you will, for the general public regarding a new movie that just came out and that stirred up a lot of emotion inside of me. Of course, I'm by no means established in the film industry as a director or screenwriter, and therefore I'm aware my opinions have little credibility, but I feel it's important as someone who one day hopes to be in this position to learn from the accomplishments and also the mistakes of the established directors and writers before me. So I just went to see the new Jurassic World film a couple nights ago on its release date, Friday, June 23rd, 2018, and holy I cannot tell you how disappointed I was. I mean, the first Jurassic World movie took a completely new and refreshing turn from the original Jurassic Park movies, which I mean were iconic. And you know, like, no one thought the Jurassic World would even meet up to those iconic standards that the original ones from the 1990s and early 2000s first set for the franchise. But I mean, I give credit where it's due. Jurassic World allowed us to really branch out from this dream, as you will, that John Hammond, the old man, the main character in the first movies, has to bring a species that was once extinct into our world for the sake of us seeing how far mankind can really take money and science to do something extraordinary. So Jurassic World allowed us to see that interaction between dinosaurs and human beings of the general public in a setting that is both feasible and almost realistic. So it's like obviously like a theme park where dinosaurs are the main attraction. But this 2018 Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom really took a turn for the absolute worst. I mean, here we are again with the same ditzy ass dumb named Claire. You know her, like, she's the main character woman in Jurassic World who obsesses with this false reality that she's in control of the dinosaurs in the first Jurassic World movie. And she's back again in this movie as clueless as ever, really. Which is, she has this idea that she's going to, like, save these poor creatures from extinction and dying on Isla Nublar, or whatever it's called, which later becomes consumed by an erupting volcano. I mean, you can't really expect much from her character after watching her make super dumb decisions in the first Jurassic World movie, but where I'm truly disappointed is with Owen's character. So Owen was always like the smart, charming, he was an animal behaviorist, I think, who has a super cute bond with the raptors, as we see in the first Jurassic World, and this really captures all of our hearts. Like, you can't just sit there and say you don't wish you were playing with those cute baby raptors as if they were puppies or something. I don't know. And especially, like, his bond with Blue is just terrific. So, or in the first movie at least. In the second movie it does end in a kind of cute way, but I'll get into that later. So in the second Jurassic World, it just feels like a cheap knockoff that ironically some money-hungry people knew that they would make a buttload of money on making a second Jurassic World and just threw it together. So they just like slopped some shit onto a script or something and like barely proofread it. Like, I doubt it was read more than 5 times because, you know, before it got to go and be put into a film. But it was just overall disappointing. So the beginning starts off well, but towards the middle to end it just becomes so predictable, so dumb. You feel like no empathy for these characters at all. And you know, that's what good movies are about. You want to feel connected to the characters, like you can relate to them. And honestly, like, I feel like the dinosaurs I had more empathy for than these characters. So first of all, instead of being the smart, heroic, witty guy from the first Jurassic World, Owen lets Claire's dumb decisions kind of rub off on him in this entire second movie, kind of like he does in the first movie, but he was still a bit smarter about it. He still, like, stood his ground, but it seems like he's being dragged around a lot by her. And even from the very beginning, when he lets her talk him into going back to this island to save the dinosaurs. And yeah, she pulled the raptor card, which I'll give him that because we really do see how close his bond is with these raptors. Especially Blue in the training videos. We see him and the little girl Maisie watching Owen working with them as baby raptors, and it's super cute. But I really don't buy that Owen loves Claire. Like, when you see all these idiotic decisions she keeps making that he's like totally against, it just doesn't seem like real. But anyway, one of the first really dumb things we see is when they're on the island, they're trying to escape, and the volcano's erupting, and it's Owen, Claire, and that brainy, funny tech boy who's like, by the way, he's like a genius of a character. Like, he's a great comic relief in the beginning. But anyway, so Claire and this boy hop into the glass ball thing that like rolls around Jurassic World in the first movie. So they hop into this ball, and Owen just stands there. Like, the dinosaurs are coming, the volcano's running down like hot lava, and Owen just stands there. Like, he doesn't do anything, he just stands there. So I'm thinking, why isn't, like, what the hell is he doing? Why doesn't he climb in? You know, because then of course a dinosaur tries to come in and eat him, and he's just standing at the ball like, no dumbass, like it was gonna happen. So and then the ball eventually starts rolling down the hill, and he's running like hell after this ball, obviously not being fast enough to keep up with it, and we're all thinking, you dumbass, why didn't you get inside of the ball? So finally the ball goes into the ocean off the cliff, and Owen jumps in behind them, and we finally get to see the point of him not being inside of this ball because they get stuck, like Claire and the boy get stuck inside, and they're unable to get the glass doors off under the water, so Owen like has to swim in and help them. But like the entire time leading up to that moment, people next to me in the audience even were like, what the shit, man? Why is he just standing there watching them sit there in the ball and not move? Like, this is an action movie. We want to see action, alright? So we're thinking, like, maybe at first that he's gonna like start pushing them to get the ball to start moving, because obviously like the controls don't work. But no, it's not like he ever does that either. So there literally was no point for him all the time to just be standing there. Like, I don't get it. I don't know how the director let that happen. Like, why not maybe have a dinosaur fight Owen to prevent him from getting inside the ball? Like, but like something should have been done about that. We have to remember, like, we have different directors for all 5 of these Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. So, you know, Spielberg did like the first 2, which I mean, obviously was why they were amazing. But then we have Joe Johnston, who he did the 3rd Jurassic Park, which is also very good. Colin Trevorrow, who directed the first Jurassic World in 2015, and then Bayona did this last one. So I haven't seen many of Bayona's other movies that he's directed. Like, I think he directed The Orphanage, A Monster Calls, and yeah, so I think he directed those 2 movies. And I don't know how much credibility he has, but like, wow, man, what a letdown. We are talking about a major film franchise to go down in history. The Jurassic Park movies, equivalent to the greatness of Star Wars, to where our grandchildren's children will probably still be talking about these movies. Now, I didn't read the screenplay, but I mean, the writing was also super flawed with a lot of the actions and behaviors chosen for some of these characters. So, especially at the end of the movie. So, Bayona deserved a lot of credit for the quality of the movie. It was put together magnificently. It was scary as the graphics were so realistic. You know, like, it was great. And as an aspiring director, obviously I have to admire him for even being in that position that he is. But as a director, your name is what people see when they think of the success or failure of a film. And that's unfortunately for him, because I don't think I would even want to have my name on that film after the amount of disappointment it has provided following up from the last Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. Yeah, but what I think is the real problem here is just bad writing. Okay, kind of like how the entire character of the housekeeper in the second Jurassic World, the new one, the lady who's like looking after Maisie, she's just completely forgotten after being dismissed from the house by the bad guy Mills, only after we just discover from Maisie's picture that it seems like that's her mom, but then we find out Maisie's like a clone herself, so we're left with this kind of amateurish loose end where this family seems to be the central of the setting for the story because everything's happening in their house, and yet we get to find out absolutely nothing about the relationship this woman has to Maisie. So it just seems like someone was being lazy writing this, or I don't know, maybe forgot to pencil her in somewhere. I don't know. How do you forget this character in the writing process? I would love an explanation for that. So do we even need her to begin with is my question. And if she's not going to play any kind of important role or be used to feed us information that moves the movie forward, was she needed? Like, I don't think she was really. Like, yeah. Now where the movie really starts to get really dumb is the part towards the end in the middle of the auction when Owen lets the tiny dinosaur with the dome head like run rampant throughout the room while the newest dinosaur, the Indoraptor, like the big scary predator of the movie, is being shown in like the cage and is bought for I think like 50 million by this Russian bidder. So now the ending can be really important to either make or break a movie. So that's why I'm saying the entire thing was an overall disappointment, because if the beginning starts off kind of witty and unexpected but then gradually disintegrates into trash, then that's not a great movie. So anyway, it's in the auction scene. This is where Owen goes to stop the Indoraptor from being rolled back into the wall. You know, and Owen's like in this scene, he begins tearing out cables. So naturally I'm thinking, oh, he's going to electrocute it and kill it before it can do any harm, right? But then I don't remember why exactly, but he never does anything with these wires that he pulls out of the wall. Like the bad guy Mills, who was about to roll the damn creature back into the dark abyss of its cage, where it would have done a lot less harm, was really the real hero here. And he's the bad guy. He's not supposed to be the hero. You know, like we're not supposed to feel anything for the bad guy, or we're not supposed to be rooting for him. And so like, how problematic is it that our esteemed protagonist lets everyone down here? Like, because then of course, as expected, the creature eventually gets out of the cage because after everyone leaves the room in chaos, the dumbass egotistical hunter guy comes in, thinks, and he has the Indoraptor tranquilized, and he tries to grab its teeth or whatever, and he fails to lock the cage behind him, and so it gets up and eats him and gets out of the cage and then goes rampant on killing everything around it. All because Owen fails to kill the damn thing in the first place when he has the chance. Now I know, like, you know, movie, like if he had done that, it would have just been the end of the movie. I know that's not how movies work, but the fact that he even went in there and pulled the cables, like what was he doing? What was the point of him going in there doing that? There was no point of him going in there and then stopping the guy from rolling the raptor thing back, the raptor cage back in, if he was just going to pull the wires and then disappear. Like, what the fuck were the wires for then? You know, like, actions have to have meaning. Like, it doesn't have to be completely realistic. Like, of course, we knew the Indoraptor was going to have to eventually get out and start doing some damage. That's the point of the whole movie. So I get that he didn't actually kill it, but you really didn't need to show him doing all that then. Like, it just seemed like his actions, Owen's actions, are very pointless in this movie. Like, it makes me wonder kind of how Chris Pratt even agreed to play this role after the first one when he did so great and he was so astonishing with everything. Like, how could he just sit there and make this movie and think that this is okay? I don't know. And I mean, from here, it's really downhill. So we see less of our new funny characters. We've got that sassy Asian girl who plays the doctor rescuing Blue, and the curly-haired scaredy cat boy, again, who wants nothing to do with these creatures. These were super witty, refreshing plays on gender roles, and they brought life to the movie. But the boy's role after he's torn away from Claire and Owen is kind of meaningless and random. Like he's pretends he's like a grounds crew on the ship, and then he gets pulled somehow into the lab to help out as like an extra set of hands. Like they really shouldn't have taken him out of the main plot because he was hilarious. So now we're left with Claire, Owen, and the little girl, Maisie, and they're trying to escape the Indoraptor in the dumbest ways I've ever seen characters do in these movies. So first they're limited to this house, to this mansion, which kind of sucks compared to the last movies, where the characters can move about the entire island in a more realistic way. But the mansion isn't a great realistic setting where they would have survived very long with this killer beast anyway. Like, this thing is huge and he runs super fast. Like, how are they running? How are they escaping this thing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, at least there were more realistic ways in the last movies that allowed us to actually believe they were able to outrun these things. But in this movie, in a house, no. But, I mean, so Owen does the stupidest, most illogical thing ever. When he turns off the light, he turns off the lights in the mansion as if the creature doesn't have night vision like all animals usually do. Like, that's just going to make it harder for the humans to escape because we can't see in the dark like animals can. So like, and this animal's like, this raptor is bred with so many different things. There's no way it doesn't have the capabilities to see, to have night vision. And oh my god, when that little girl runs to her room to hide from the Indoraptor, and what does she do? What does she do? She gets inside of her bed under the covers. Like, what the girl? Not under the bed. Like at that point you kind of just give up and hope she dies, because clearly, like, of course the Indoraptor comes through the window and sees her lying there in bed. Like, she's not even covered up all the way. But first of all, why is she in bed hiding from a dinosaur? Like, literally, I wanted her to die. I'm sorry. But it's like she wanted her to die. So that's the only empathy I could have, is to hope that she gets her wish to die because she's stupid. So, and then right before it grabs her, of course, here comes Mr. Owen, Mr. Hero Owen, through the door with a gun that has like 2 bullets left. And then the thing just brushes it off like it barely got shot. And so then, of course, right before they get attacked, Blue appears at just the right moment. It's also predictable. Like, Blue's, I'll get into that later. But then Owen gets into bed with the girl, which is really what really just like has me outraged at this point. I'm like, Owen, there's 2 dinosaurs fighting in here and you get into bed with the little girl to just sit there and watch it? Like, how can we have any sympathy for any of them? Oh my god, it's so frustrating. And then on the roof, Claire comes back out in the scene with a gun that has like the laser that's able to control the Indoraptor, like where it will attack, because it's been programmed to do that, right? So what does Claire do here? What does she do? Let's see. She points the laser at Owen. Not a squirrel, not a tree, not literally anything else, but Owen. She sets the Indoraptor to attack Owen. Oh my god, it's so incredibly stupid. And like, sure, they played it off as if like, oh, I meant to do that move because Owen's gonna be super slick and smart and jump out of the way so that it falls through the roof. But it barely falls through the roof. You know, like, they only get out of there because Blue just happens to come back again. But literally, Blue is another reason, as another fails of this movie, because there's so many repeats taken from the last Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies that are just like, they're really becoming redundant. So the first repeat we see is like Maisie running into like the tiny elevator and the trapdoor gets stuck, which we see in the first Jurassic Park when the little girl is running from the raptors with her brother, and in the kitchen, like, she can't get the trapdoor down. So that's just like one small noticeable one that's super insignificant. Like, But most of the significant repeats that got super, like, that really killed the movie were the ones with the dinosaurs. So the damn T-Rex, for instance, comes in every second to save the day. And that got so obnoxious. Like, we see this, I think we see that happen, like, twice at the very least. So once in the scene before they escape the island, and then at the end when Mills is about to get attacked by another carnivore in the background, the T-Rex comes out instead and attacks. So, like, we get it, the T-Rex saves the day. They should have let that be done in the 2015 Jurassic World movie. So, like, you can only really use that as a big bang once, and then it's dead. Like, don't outplay it, you know? And then even Blue's character and the loyalty to Owen got really out of hand too, I would say, because Blue's the one that saves them in the end from the Indoraptor all the time. Like, I think Blue pops out like 3 different times to save them. It just becomes very predictable and unoriginal how they're using these dinosaurs. And like the writers of this version, it's like they just took scraps from the last Jurassic World and just threw them in carelessly into this one. Like, it wasn't even tasteful how they chose to do it. Like, one repeat's enough, but any more than that, you start losing people. And I'll admit, though, the last time we see Blue and Owen interact at the very end, it's very good and emotional, but it's just unlikely that it would keep, like, Blue would keep popping up to save them all the time in the direst moments, you know? Like, overall, the movie was just, it was so cheesy. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was super cheesy. It was not good filmmaking. The dinosaurs were all better actors than the actual people, which says a lot. Sure, I mean, it's super scary. I jumped out of my seat at least like 10 times, alright, at how scary and realistic these dinosaurs actually look and how they move, which essentially is why people, I think, come out to see these movies. But it's like the people behind the production of this movie forgot the essence of what these Jurassic Park movies are really about. So we want to feel sympathy for these characters and also connected to them as if we could actually be them, which again is why the theme park premise in 2015 Jurassic World worked so well, you know, because that was the last time but this last one was just, it was so unrealistic, and we're left with the possibility that dinosaurs just roam free to coexist with humans. Like, I mean, Blue is still a very dangerous raptor, and she's seen last roaming the hills above this town with houses everywhere. Like, I really just hope they don't try and make another movie to follow this one up, because from here, we've already lost what Jurassic Park was originally about, and frankly, I don't want to find out what happens next. So, let me know what you think in the comments. You know, I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are going to be like, you're a pretentious like, who do you think you are? You know, we're all entitled to our own opinions. That's the great reality about the World Wide Web, is that we can all put our opinions out there. So, why don't you guys just tell me what you thought about the new Jurassic World movie and what you thought about my opinions on it. Thank you. Bye.